What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts Live. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and over 10 years' experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. That's the first time I had to do that live. I'm glad we got through it. Guys, this is exciting. So basically, I wrote about this on the community post, why we're doing this. Basically, I had a really busy week. Halloween is very busy for mentalists because people like the spooky, scary mind-reading shows. So it was really busy. I didn't have time to film or edit something, but I didn't want to leave you guys, like a videoless weekend. So I said, let's do a stream. Last week, we did a stream with Rob from Line Lumber. I know a lot of you tuned into that. We got a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new members. It was a ton of fun. We did some live analysis where you guys were able to jump in from the comments and spot things. And I just had a blast doing that. It was so great that, sometimes I saw something and then you guys saw something and then we were able to put that together and do just a lot better as a group. So I was like, that's such a fun thing. And I've had these little clips here and there over the last couple of weeks that were just sitting there. I didn't know what to do with them, but I knew there was good moments of analysis in there. So I just kind of compiled a few of those that we can look at today together. We can learn about body language, facial expressions, word choice. I'm going to give you guys a really, really great technique at the end of this that you can use to sniff out when something isn't right. Like it's a method of critical thinking that I use all the time. Magicians use this all the time, that you'll be able to use to adjust the way you think about things to be able to sense a little more accurately when something's off. Really effective, really great. I think you guys are going to love it. We're going to look at a profiling system that's really great, like a really quick profiling system. You guys are going to love that too. And we'll all be able to just analyze some of these clips together. This is going to be awesome. Couple of rules for the chat. Let's just keep it respectful. Let's keep it on topic. Let's not spam or anything like that. And just, make sure to not, let's keep it respectful. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be things that we're not all seeing the same thing. That's the way a lot of this works. Let's keep it respectful. So we're going to start our journey with a topic that has been very popular on my channel lately. These are a couple of scenes from the Diary of a CEO interview of Jada Pinkett Smith, which we covered last week entirely. But there were a couple of clips that didn't make the final cut because the theme of those were very different from what we were talking about last week. And I kind of felt bad about it because it was really good stuff. So I thought this was a great opportunity to bring it in and we can all look at it together. So you guys can help me out here and look at this. And I'm going to help you guys as well kind of understand the process a little bit of how I do a lot of the stuff I do. So we're going to take a look at this now. We're going to start with a really quick clip that we already looked at last week, just a couple of seconds, just to get a bit of a baseline of the way she talks. And it's going to be very relevant for what's going to come up after that. So here we go. This is Jada Pinkett Smith talking about when Will first kind of asked her out or asked her to be his girlfriend or whatever the case was. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Hi, members. Hi, Nimoon. Here we go.
And he's like, are you seeing anybody? And I'm like, no. He's like, good. You seeing me now. And I was like, what? Once again, that kind of bold, approach. I was just like, oh, clutched my pearls a little bit. So he was like, call me when you get back to LA. So when I got back to LA, I called him and we went out on our first date.
Okay, so there it was. Like I said, that's just a quick clip. We already looked at that in last week's video. We talked about some stuff around it, but not specifically those behaviors. But the main reason I wanted to look at this is to just establish a little bit of a baseline. And we're going to talk about a system that I use to really quickly speed read people in a minute. But just based on what we saw right now, so in the comments, just let's start with needs. So she's talking about first, Will Smith called her and said, are you seeing anyone? She goes, no. And he goes, well, you're seeing me now. And how, that attracted her, that kind of decisiveness. So in a few words, you could give me 2 or 3 words, you give me 1 word. What do you feel that in this moment she's saying about her needs, what she values, what she looks for? So give me some words as to what you feel. I don't want to give too many clues here, I don't want to push you any direction. I want to see what you guys are getting. So what are her needs? What are her values? What's important to her? What makes her, what resonates with her in that moment? Nice. Nice. Man, you guys are so good. Look at this. Yes. Okay. Wow. I love these. Guys, such great answers here. Let me try to go through this. So, assertive confidence. I like that. A lot of you are saying confidence, strength of character. Shirley, great job. Jaina, that's another way of putting it. I'll put up on the screen. There we go. Jaina. good way to put it. Decisive, confidence, a man that takes control. Again, we have a bunch of people saying confidence. Tanya, of course, Tanya. Thank you for being here, Tanya. Confidence, absolutely. Decisiveness, a leader. So a lot of you are saying the same thing. Boldness, directness, strong man, confidence and strength. So a lot of you are saying along the same lines. And that's, masculinity, decisiveness, assertiveness. These are words that are coming up a lot and you're all nailing it. And that's exactly right. So in that moment, in her telling that story, we're getting a clue that that kind of thing impresses her. Decisiveness, confidence, someone who takes the lead, someone who claims her. I think it would be fair to say that he's claiming her. He's saying, you're mine. And he's leading and she's following. So that can already start to give us some clues as to what happened further down the line that started causing turmoil. I don't want to get ahead of myself. You guys did great on that. Let's also look at, okay, so let's talk about in terms of expressiveness. Are we seeing someone here? So let's wipe the slate clean because we're all familiar with Jada. Just looking at this, because I know it's easy for us to go, oh my God, so self-serving, narcissist, blah, blah. So let's just erase that and just look at this moment. In terms of expressiveness, would you say she's very expressive with her gestures? Not very expressive, somewhere in the middle? What are you seeing here? Yes, that's a great point. This is such a great point. Neuropsych Zena, exactly the same. When Tupac approached her at first, she was very impressed. Like nobody comes up to me like that. So that assertiveness really impressed her. And it's a theme. Great job, great catch. Love it. Okay, yes. So very expressive, very expressive. Somewhere in the middle. I feel that's fair. So I would say in that segment, it's somewhere in the middle, but more leaning towards more expressive. In the way that she talks, those eyebrows come to life. We're seeing some smiles here, quite a bit of gestures, but yeah, not over the top. Like it's not like a Russell Brand type thing. So I would say it's like towards the quite expressive. But if you looked at that and you go, it's somewhere in the middle range, that's totally fair as well. We're not talking about truth or false, by the way. We're just talking about how expressive she is with her gestures, how many illustrators we have. And we have quite a bit here. Illustrators are the gestures we use to accentuate what we're saying, and there's quite a bit here. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are here waiting for Rob, I am too. He said he'll pop in at some point. Not really sure when that's happening, but the moment I see him, he'll be jumping in. So sorry. Back on topic. Yes, we're seeing quite a bit of those illustrators. Did anybody notice the fingers as she was illustrating how the fingers were? Did anybody, whether they were pointing, were they closed, were they open? Did anybody notice that? Did anybody catch that? It doesn't matter if you didn't. I don't expect everyone. Like I watched it a couple of times, so I have that edge. So don't feel bad if you didn't. Did anybody notice? Wiggling? Kina says middle. Parce que vous êtes très expressive. Je suis intensément expressive. So Kina's very, very expressive. So to her, Jada is tame. Open, mostly open. Grabbed her shoulder. Yes, there was a scratch. So yeah, most of you are saying open, and that's right. So they're not extended in that stop gesture motion where like when we're on high alert. So the research on this shows that like when there's a negation, our palm goes outwards like this. So we're not seeing this hard open, but they are more open than closed. We're not seeing fists either. So that's good to keep in mind. When she's relaxed, telling a story, we're seeing this kind of thing. And this is very normal, by the way. Usually when they come in, that's a little tense. We very rarely illustrate like this. This is also, when something's startling us. But in this case, they're open but relaxed. So great. You guys got it. Good. Love it. Anything else here? Oh, did anybody notice her blink rate? This might be tricky because sometimes we forget to check that. Did anybody notice her blink rate? Whether she was blinking a lot, normal amount, was it a low blink rate? Did we notice where the blinky blinks were? Anyone, someone. Okay, we have a few that are saying slow. Is Rob in the chat? Rob, if you're in the chat, go to the stream. That's fine. Sarah says, I do forget to check blink rate. I do as well. Pamela said, mistake. Don't worry about it. It's a very normal thing because we're usually trying to look at those gestures, the expressions, so we forget to check blink rate. That's totally normal. No problem. So, okay, I'll tell you what it was. It was a high blink rate. So, yes, very expressive with her facial expressions. It was a high blink rate. So if we go back and look at it, you guys can, when we're done the stream, you guys go back and look at it again. I don't want to replay that. But if we look at it, so normal blink rate is anywhere between 14 to 21 blinks a minute. For some, it's higher. For some, it's lower. It's really a widespread. But for her, in that moment, blink, 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 some flutters, blink, blink, blink. So it doesn't tell me much. It doesn't tell me whether she's stressed or anything like that, because as far as I know, looking at that clip, she's telling a story and I'm seeing a high blink rate. Are things going to fluctuate from that? Is this an increased blink rate? I'm not sure, but in that moment, quite a bit of blink rate. Let me just see if Rob, I'm going to have my phone near me just in case Rob needs something. He did text me not about the stream. Great. So now we're going to look at a second clip. So let's keep that in mind, right? We have someone who's expressive, pretty high blink rate. I love what you guys said about responds well to confidence, assertiveness. That's a great word, assertiveness. So let's keep going. And on this next clip, I'm going to show you guys my method of speed reading, which is called the funnel. And it's really, really cool. And this is something I use whether I'm on stage. When I bring people up on stage, I have to do cold reading. I have to start telling them things about themselves. So it's a really effective way that I use in my shows, but I also use it in interviewing or in any situation I have to read someone. And I think you'll find it's a really, really great system to kind of slowly get somewhere. So let's go back to the video. Here we go. So we're going to start by watching this on silent. So we're going to watch a clip on silent. There's not going to be any... Sorry, I just saw a super chat. By the way, I will address all super chats at the end of the stream. So if there's a question you have that's really important, pop it in super chat. As you saw, I will be addressing other comments as well throughout the stream, but all super chats will be answered at the end. So, okay, I'm going to play this on silent. So all I want you to do by watching this video, and if you pick up a few other things, that's perfectly fine as well, but all I want you to do is try to notice by looking at this video, if we're seeing someone who's experiencing more of a positive or a negative experience, just based on what you're seeing. Is it positive, negative? If you want to catch specific things in the facial expressions, the body language, please go ahead and do that. You might want to grab a pen, make some notes, or just mental notes. We're going to watch it on silent, and we're going to see if you guys could figure out the vibe of what she's talking about, even if we're not going to hear a single word. Here we go. Enjoy. Okay, let's hear it. So in the chat, just give me more or less negative, positive. Sadie, coming in with the lip compressions. By the way, Sadie's moderating, so I could totally see her. You guys can't, but I could see her. Negative, aggressive, seems very serious, not happy. I saw negative. Looks serious, but her body language is open. Love that. Disapproval. Lip compression, lip lick. Great catch there, Knight. Negative, negative. Annoyment, okay. Aggressive. That's interesting, aggressive. Somebody said aggressive. I'm not, let me know why aggressive. Okay, so let me show you guys. So let's see. Sadness, self-soothing, Nimun, great. Intense or annoyed, Sarah, those are two great guesses. Relaxed but sad or unhappy, Sunflower and Sass. Love that. That's really, you did a really good job on that. But yeah, because she's relaxed, she's comfortable talking to the host, but you sense that there was something sad or unhappy. Love that. So Let me show you guys what she was actually saying now. So we're going to look at that same clip, see what she was saying, so you guys could see, okay, that's what I caught. Oh, that's what that was. Pamela says, because she looks pissed. Okay, so there's a distinction between aggressive and pissed. Aggressive, usually we're seeing more of these jolty gestures, more open eyes, more tense around the lips, like there's aggression, like there's an attack. So tension and aggressive is a little bit different. Thank you for explaining that. Makes a lot of sense. So let's now listen to what she was saying, and then I'll teach you guys my system of, or should we do the system first? You know what, let's do the system first, and then we'll look at what she was actually saying. So the first one I already asked you, positive or negative. So my funnel works like this. I don't look at someone and immediately know the slight details. I work towards the smaller details. The first thing I want to know is comfort versus discomfort. That's the first thing. So I could be looking at someone from across a room, or I'm sitting in an interview with someone, or I've brought someone up on stage. The first thing I want to know is comfort or discomfort. So in this case, we all said negative. So, or most of you said negative. So that I think that's discomfort. I think we all, to a certain degree, looked at that and sensed for some reason, doesn't matter why, some discomfort going on. Maybe you saw some self-soothing. Maybe you saw a more serious look on her face. So we're seeing discomfort. Second, so we have that at the top of the funnel. Comfort versus discomfort. Now we move down into the funnel and we have the universal emotions. Did we see in that moment, in that interaction, any hints of any universal emotions? So the universal emotions are joy, sadness, disgust, anger, contempt. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Anger, surprise, contempt, disgust, sadness. I'm missing one. I'm trying to think of Inside Out. Sadness, joy, disgust, anger, contempt. Oh my Lord. You know what? I'm going to write them down because it's like by the time I get to the end of the list, I'm forgetting what I already said. Sadness, joy, anger, disgust. Oh, fear. I'm an idiot. Fear, surprise, contempt. So joy, I don't think anybody's saying joy. Correct. We can rule that out. Fear, okay, some people are saying fear. Interesting. Yeah, I could see why you would say fear. There's this moment where she looks up like this. We're seeing a couple of moments with those eyes wide open. I could see why fear would be a good guess. Is stressful a sign of discomfort? Absolutely. So when I say comfort or discomfort, stress or not stress means the exact same thing. Great catch there. You're ruling out fear. So Paula is ruling out fear. Okay. Sadness. Yes. So we're seeing, Melissa says sadness. Gloria says sadness. I agree. There's a relaxation around the lips. And there's these moments where we see it kind of drooping and then it comes back up. So I do agree that we saw quite a bit of sadness there. Great catch for those of you who said sadness. Maybe grief. Great catch. I don't know. So long sofa. So long sofa. Good job. Sadness, another sadness, Mary Jane. Great job. Really not Sarah. A few of you are saying contempt. So contempt is hard to catch. It's that little tension on one side of the mouth like this. And maybe it was there. We're going to look at it again right now. I didn't notice contempt personally, but it's possible that it was there. So, okay, so a lot of sadness, some fear. Few of you are saying contempt. So that's the second thing. So we have comfort versus discomfort, so stress or no stress. Then we move down, universal emotions, just to get a better sense of, is this person in an emotional state? Then we move down to specifics. So what specific gesture did we see? So start listing them. What did we see specifically, gesture-wise? Let's not make any guesses to how she's feeling. Just gesture-wise, what did we see? A lot of facial expressions. She is comfortable talking about it, but it affects her negatively. Love that. But we're looking for specific gestures that we saw. What did we see? Left hand closed, eye roll, chin up, head back, lowering eyes. This is great stuff. Too many pursed lips. So LA noticed some pursed lips. Correct. There was lip compression, lick grooming. Nailed it. So a lot of lip compressions, a lot of this tense lips. There was a lick lip. Looking up to stop tears. Oh my God, where's that? Chris Ware, high five, boom, absolutely. There's a moment where we see her go like this, and we see that this kind of bit of tension around here with that looking up to stop the tears. I would say that even this kind of thing is to hold back emotion as well. Remember, with tense lips, we're holding something back, whether it's an emotion, an opinion. This usually reflects something that we're trying to hold back. Oh, you said that too, Crystal Wolf. Awesome. Lip lick, lots of tension. Redness around her nose. Great catch. This is great stuff. You guys are doing really great. So absolutely, all these things are there. Let me see if I have anything else. Oh, I wrote pacifiers. So pacifiers or self-soothing gestures. Is this the one? This one when she was pacifying on the head like this. We're going to look at it again right here. But in my notes, I have pacifiers or self-soothing gestures, which is any massage-like gesture that helps soothe or calm us down. It happens in moments of stress. So there was definitely some of that in my notes. Lip compression. Guarding neck. I think some of you said that. Chin down. So we saw a couple of moments where the chin went down like this, and this is a defensive gesture. Whenever we block the neck with anything, it might be with our hand like this, having neck clasping like this, could be with the chin. We might turtle sometimes. Anything that protects this very vital part of the body is defensive. So I did see that. And lip lick, like you guys saw. So what does all this paint a picture of? We're leaning towards negative. We're seeing notes of sadness, potentially fear, contempt came up. By the way, this is why we look for multiple things. You might be wrong about specifically contempt, but if you're seeing negative, sadness, lip licking, pacifying, whether that contempt was there or not, it still paints a pretty clear image. There's a negative thing being experienced here. So we're looking at this without knowing a single word. And we're sensing that there's something sad, stressful. You know, some of you said she's open about it. So she's sharing something, but it's a negative feeling. You guys are basically becoming mentalists in that moment because it can't be more dead on than that. Let's listen to what she was actually saying. So excited. I'm so happy for you guys. Clusters are important. Absolutely.
I'm so terrified to be by myself. I call my homegirl MC Light. And I tell her, like, you got to come out here. I'm afraid to be alone by myself. I'm going to do something to myself. And she flies out. And so she holds me down until my mother comes. It's a crazy moment.
So those of you who said, you know, she's openly talking about something, but it's negatively affecting her. Any of you said, you know, anything around sadness, maybe even grief. By the way, I did it that time. I did spot the contempt. There's a quick flash at some point like this as she was talking. So great catch. The pacifier was on the hand. I just remembered. At the end, we see this kind of thing. She's pacifying as she's talking about how crazy this whole experience was. There's those pauses. So anybody who caught all that stuff, moment of vulnerability, Nimoon, absolutely. So all that stuff that you guys said, you guys 100% spotted the context of what she was talking about. And that's what I'm doing as a mentalist, right? Somebody comes up and I have them think of a thought in their head. And I have my trickery. I have the tricks. Remember, mentalists use tricks. I have my tricks to know the specifics sometimes of what they're thinking, but the feelings around it is things like this. I see these, the stress is spiking there. We're pacifying. We're licking those lips. There's some droopiness in the face. This is sad. So we can just tell by the gestures that this is the type of thing that's being talked about. So yes, Laura, trickery. Mentalists use trickery. So Sparkles didn't catch a lot, but still felt the sadness. That's great. Even if you just felt generally that there was a sad vibe to this, that's already moving down the funnel. You're already at that second step. So give yourselves a high five, pat on the back if you got stress, sadness, fear. You know, some of you said fear. She was talking about she was scared of the way she was feeling. So great job there. So a lot of great stuff. Now, there are some people there who are stuck with saying how much they dislike her. And I understand that. But that, you know, we talked a lot about this in last week's video to where if we already have an opinion, it paints our capacity to analyze. I'm not saying you have to love her, I'm not saying you have to hate her, but when we're doing analysis of anyone, you have to detach yourself from the way you feel about that person. And I know how challenging it is, but it's so important, because otherwise you will only see it through that lens. And you'll only be looking for supporting things to how much you dislike someone. And I've been guilty of doing that as well, so I totally get it. But with analysis, we have to try at least to not do that. I find it really helps to just kind of detach and be like, don't care about this person. Let's just look at the behaviors. In other words, if I showed just that video to someone, they know nothing about Jada, they know nothing about their past, I showed just that video to someone, would they be like, she sucks immediately just based on that video? I don't know. Up to you to decide. It helps to analyze someone you dislike when you can't hear them. I find so as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Barry. We talked a lot about confirmation bias last week and how it paints our, and I'm sure as a psychologist, this is something you're very used to doing and could do very effectively, to where, you know, you might get a patient in there to where there's something you're not connecting with, but you have to put that aside to be able to do your job right. So I love that we get your input on this, and thank you for complimenting the analogy of confirmation bias. That was in last week's video. You guys go check it out. There's a little game we played to show how confirmation bias can affect the way you see things. Great. Let's do one more. Okay, we're going to do one more with Jada, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff. One more Jada real quick. I also do want to wrap this up rather quick, because Rob's going to start his live stream, I think, at 8 or a little bit after 8. I'm not really sure. And I know a lot of you want to go watch his Friday Night Frenzy. So hopefully he'll be in here soon as well, hanging out. So let's do the next one. Okay, so for the next one, you can use the funnel as well. Let's look at a big question for this next one is going to be why. So why is she saying, there's one answer she's going to give. And because we were able to take some time to think about what she's communicating, we're going to be able to understand a little bit more why she feels this way, hopefully. Let's see. Oh, Rob said 8:30. Great. So if you're starting at 8:30, we'll wrap up before that. Thanks, guys. Here we go.
I was abandoning myself in the hopes that if I just keep pouring into this, if I just keep pouring into him, if I keep pouring into his dream, I'm going to eventually get what I want. Right? And that's a false idea in so many ways, right? And so many of us do that.
He says that to you, doesn't he? He says, when you separate, he says he wants you to go and...
He's like, go.
Go make yourself happy?
Go make yourself happy.
And how did you receive that?
Not well. Not well, because, you know, there can be truth, but you know what I'm saying? It's like how we, you know, I think it was very true, but I think at that particular point in time, I was just still really resentful.
I was muted. Thank you so much, Jackie. Jeez, that must have been very confusing. Did anybody notice the fingers is what I was asking. So quite a few things. A lot of you are throwing in some great stuff in here. Did we notice the fingers? Did we see, were they flexed? Were they closed? Were they, you know, in the middle somewhere? What were we seeing with the fingers? Yeah, grooming. Glad a lot of you caught the grooming. Fists. Yep. Flexed fingers. Yep. Sadie, there's a reason you're the prime minister of behavior. There's a reason for that. Lots of fist gestures. Fist and pounding. Yes. Okay. So Elise, you caught the pray to chest, this thing in the beginning. That's great. Okay, let's try to stick to the gestures. Okay, notice a hammering gesture. So this, yes. Sorry, I just want to get a few more here. Yeah, praying hands, Will, great catch. So yeah, so we had this in the beginning, and then we went to a lot of this. Then we saw this pounding. This is really not a natural way to illustrate. Almost never in a relaxing interaction, in a comfortable interaction, will you ever see this kind of thing. And even if you do, like someone's talking like this, they might be telling the story of a confrontation or something like that in a relaxed environment. This is like the hands are getting ready for some sort of confrontation. Even in gesture, any kind of pounding, slapping, thumping, usually less reliable than this, but that's also some sort of conflict. So we're seeing a lot of this kind of conflict. So there's some sort of conflict around this topic. And and what is she talking about here? She's talking about the idea of him, what? Rejecting her, saying just go, just go find your own happiness. And them not finding that path, that confrontation, that conflict. We're also seeing pacifying at the end on the head like this. And again, this isn't a scratch. Like it's not she had some sort of scratch. It's just almost, she's not giving too much thought to this. It's a self-soothing gesture on the head. So some of you caught that. That's great. Her blink rate is down on this one a little bit more. It's not low, but compared to some of the other clips we saw, it is a little bit lower in places. And usually a lower blink rate, we're alert. So that's good there. Okay, but here's the main thing I wanted to talk about here. So he says, go, make yourself happy. And she says she didn't take that well. One word question for you guys. Why? Why didn't she take that well? The answer to that is in something we already profiled. So why would, now think about this, take a sec, don't go on your first impulse, look, she's a narcissist. Take a sec. I get it. I get that that's where you want to go with this. But take a second and think about why. On a values level, she would feel offended by the fact that he goes, go find your happiness. We talked about, remember we talked about, so we earlier profiled her to figure out, boom. So there's two answers I'm seeing. This one, and then, oh, you guys are fast. Boom. 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 Look at you guys. Boom. Boom. Okay, guys. Wow. Boom. Moon. Exactly. These are all such great answers. So earlier we profiled her in the way that she was talking and determined what impresses her, what draws her, right? And somebody brought up a great point that not only in the way she talks about Will, but the way she talks about Tupac, she likes that leader, that assertiveness. We said that word before, that confidence of someone saying, you're dating me now. He claimed her. In this moment, the idea that's being brought up is that he no longer claims her. And that's the most hurtful thing that can happen to her. Because the thing that impressed her about him, about Tupac, is that confidence of saying, with Tupac, she had said, people don't come up to me like that. That confidence was attractive. With Will, she said it's sexy to have that assertiveness. He claims her. So the moment he goes, I no longer claim you. Go find your own happiness. I will not lead you to happiness. That's the biggest abandonment she could feel. That's the biggest sense of deceit she could feel. So we're seeing that insane dichotomy between her being impressed and smiling at that idea of being claimed, and now really not receiving it well when he goes, I no longer claim you. So great job, guys. That was awesome. You guys did so good. Okay, we're going to move on from Jada, and we're going to do something that a lot of people have asked me before. We're not really going to move on from Jada, but she won't be the one we're analyzing. There's a question I get asked. You guys have asked me this in the comments. that if I can analyze myself, if I could take like a performance of mine or a video of mine and analyze myself, as I was editing last week's video of Jada, I'm going to regret doing this. As I was editing the video, there was a moment where I caught a few things on my own face. And I was like, man, you need to be better at hiding this stuff. And that's another thing. A lot of the time I get comments of people saying like, well, aren't you just teaching liars how to lie better? Or aren't you teaching people how to fake emotions better? Really not. Knowing this stuff, if you were to consciously try to hide this stuff, it would look even weirder. What we're catching is subconscious gestures. In most cases, we don't know that we're doing them. And even me, I've studied this my entire life, pretty much. And I get on stage and I do this. And I'm a performer. I've done TV. Like I know how to kind of play to a camera, but there are still times where I'm editing and I go, oh yeah, well shit. You can see that. So I jump up from my chair when I have an epiphany. I get really excited. That's a gravity-defying gesture. That's what Joe Navarro calls those. When you're excited, things go up or like go flying off my chair. I levitate. But so we're gonna look at this, okay? Now be nice, because I'm not gonna analyze myself. I'm just gonna validate the things you're saying. You guys are gonna read my mind. I was talking about Jada at some point, and there's at least two things we see. Maybe a third. The third one is really, really fast. I don't expect anyone to catch that, but if you do, I'll be super impressed. Here we go. Here we go. Be nice. So I have historically been critical of Jada. My regular viewers know that. There have been some things that she's done that I wasn't a mega fan of. I very much disliked a lot of what was happening at the Red Table Talk between her and Will. And you know, a lot of viewers or a lot of commenters, not just on this channel, talk about a lot of things she does that are self-serving. The word narcissist gets thrown around a lot. Okay, who saw it? Who saw it? So there were two things. Somebody already said, yeah. Okay, you guys got it. You guys got it. Oh man, you guys got it. Yeah. It's crazy because like if I think to myself giving that speech and I think to like what I looked like, I'd be like, I had a pretty neutral face. I think I did a pretty good job. And then I watched it, I was like, come on. A lot of you are getting it. So let me highlight a few of you who got it just to give you guys some props and what-ups. Layla nailed it. This is another one. This is actually the third, but we'll talk about that. Yes. There was a massive, let's see, I mean, a bunch of you said it, but the comments are flying. Yes. So this is the first one we're looking for. Daniel, 100%. Oh, look who just showed up.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Good. Everyone, you for those of you who don't know, this is Rob from Law and Lumber. He's an incredible lawyer and legal analyst. He did a lot of videos with me in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. He's also really, really good at behavioral analysis, better than he thinks he is. Rob, did you see the clip we just looked at?
Of you? No.
Okay. They're breaking it down. Rod's 100%. So there was indeed, for those of you who caught it, I mean, a lot of you caught it, there was a flash of contempt. Rob, this is me talking about Jada. And I thought I was being good. I thought I was being good. I thought I was being subtle, but I'm going to try to hit the moment where it happens. And it happens exactly as I'm saying some things that she's done, which is crazy because I could confirm to you guys what I was thinking, you know? Check it out. It hits as soon as I say things that she's done. So I have historically been critical of Jada. My regular viewers know that. There have been some things that she's done that. Did you see it? Just before. Things that she's done.
The right side of your face just went way, okay.
Boosh. So exactly.
You're easy to read.
I know. I like to think I'm not. There it is. Oh my God, look at that. There it is. Boom. It's almost like, even look at my eye. Sadie's laughing. Sadie's laughing. Sadie's laughing backstage. So contempt, for those of you who don't know, is a universal expression. Basically, what that means is anywhere in the world that has a high recognizability rate. So regardless of where you're from, it's expressed the same way, and it's asymmetric. So it's one side of the mouth, there's this tension. So sometimes it's this, sometimes it's this, sometimes that sideways kind of looking askance, what we call it. But in that moment, I was talking about things that she's done. I could confirm I was thinking of the red table talk as I was talking about that. So boom, contempt. And yeah, I would rather that didn't happen. How is contempt different from disgust? Faith, amazing question. So the two are very close and very often confused. So if somebody saw disgust in this moment or in this speech, it's not necessarily incorrect because they're very close. I would say that contempt is more disgust towards a specific person or situation. It's kind of like looking down on something. Disgust is almost like contempt, but we see it on both sides. So disgust, everything closes. Basically, disgust is there's an input coming in. It disgusts me. I want to limit the input. I close my eyes because I don't want to see it. I scrunch my nose because I don't want to smell it. And I tense my lips because I don't want to taste it. So disgust, everything closes in. If we remove a lot of that, but just keep the tension on one side of the face, that's contempt. So it still has that crinkling on one side and the tension on one side of the mouth. So it technically is just a little bit of disgust, just a quick little disgust. So if you guys said disgust, you wouldn't be wrong. Another thing, some of you, I don't know if some of you caught this, but right as I said, I think someone did, or some of you did, a lot of what was happening. Let's see it. It's tough. Focus on this area. Some things that she's done that I wasn't a mega fan of. I very much disliked a lot of what was happening at the red table talk between. Who caught that? What happened?
Eye blocking.
Eye blocking. Rob, you're so good at this. Like he even knows the terms. So a lot of what was happening. So it's crazy to see. Yes, eye block. Knight, you're really good at this. Knight, I feel like you've sorry. I try to highlight something and then it moves up. Knight, you've gotten a lot of right answers today. High five for right answers, Knight. So yes, eye blocking. Eddie got it as well. Beads and Beans got it as well. Die Hard, HGTR got it as well. Okay, you guys are good. Slow blink. Great, Amy. Thank you. Slow blink and eye block, same thing. Same thing. It's two different words for the same thing. So yeah, you missed it the first time. That's fine. That totally happens. But again, with a lot of what was happening, we got this. A lot
someone
of
someone caught your recovery. So 2B artistry caught the eye flutter after the eye block.
Let's see it. A lot of what was happening at the red table talk between her and Will, and you know, I think it's my mind just trying to catch up for me moving past that image. I think that's literally what that is, because I could tell you guys what I was thinking in that moment. Both times when I said the first one, some things she's done, and a lot of what was happening both times. I promise you, vividly, I was remembering the red table talk and specifically Will falling apart at the red table. So look at that. And Rob, you did it. The commenters did it. Just looking at those two things. And again, usually we want clusters, but just looking at those two things, you guys can notice there's a contempt. So even when I'm giving, that speech was literally about me being objective and trying to be objective. But look at what slips through sometimes. Because in that moment, and I'm not saying I despise Jada. I stand by that 110%. Look, no contempt, nothing. See, it's symmetric. So I'm not making that claim. But there are things that she's done that I have not been a very big fan of. And that's why in that moment, as I was thinking about those things, we're seeing that eye block, we're seeing that flash of contempt. A lot of you said eyebrow flashing. Now, a lot of you know that I eyebrow flash a lot. This is very common for performers on stage because, and this is crazy, when I'm on stage and you're really far away from me, you're in the 100th row, you won't see my eyes. You won't see where my eyes go, but you see my eyebrows. In fact, this is the reason our eyebrows are as mobile as they are, because in hunting situations from a far distance, we could signal to someone who was part of the pack, somebody who's part of the hunting pack, we could signal things. Notice how I can indicate something to you by just doing this, right? Don't even need my eyes. I do that. You know what I'm doing. We give importance to things with our eyebrows. So as a stage performer, I really use those eyebrows because I want the person in the back row to get that emotion, to get these moments. So I do that a lot. But in this moment, there was two kinds. There was a few emphasis eyebrow flashes, which is very common, emphasizing with the eyebrows. But there were a few that were more like this. And I can't fake that. There were a few, I'm sure, a lot of viewers or a lot of comments there. And then there's another one. Commenters, not just on this channel, talk about a lot of things she does that are self-serving. The word narcissist. Boom. It's right in the beginning of narcissist. Self-serving. The word narcissist. Right there. So that's coming down from it. But it's more the inner corners that are doing this. And you can even see up here, there's a bit of a dip. This is so weird analyzing myself. What a strange thing. But that's a little bit more consistent with sad or negative feelings. So I often emphasize like this a lot of the time when I talk, but in that moment, we're seeing two of these. So just those inner corners. Look for that distinction. It'll give you the difference between emphasizing or someone feeling a quick moment of sadness.
Well, there's also something here about your baseline too. So this is a good thing to say. So your baseline isn't that right lip right there. You usually speak a little bit more out of the right side of your mouth than you do then, like, it's not an even-handed right across the board. So your right side of your mouth is generally more upward just in your normal conversation. So it's more difficult to identify contempt unless you're really looking for it. But the contempt is such a deviation from that that it becomes more obvious.
Great point. So I talk more with the right side of my face. And here's the thing. A lot of comments say I look like Mark Ruffalo. I don't necessarily physically look like Mark Ruffalo, but I talk like he does. We both have a raspy voice, and he also talks out the right side of his mouth a little bit more like this. So I think that's what it is that reminds you. Physically, you saw a picture of Mark Ruffalo. I don't think we look a lot but alike. But Rob, you're dead on. I do talk more with the right side of my face a little bit more. But in that moment where it flashed, boom, like we literally saw this kind of thing. There was a deliberate movement which wasn't part of that normal me talking more out the right side of my mouth. You said it perfectly. Rob, if ever you want to just like not lawyer anymore and be a behavioral analyst, I think you'd be really, really freaking good at it.
Oh, how am I going to do that? Sweaty, I have enough hobbies. I can't do another one. I can't. I was talking with you earlier today and you were like, I can't get over the fact that you're a lawyer, that you're actually like in court. I was like, I was in court this morning.
You put a tie on and you go to court and stuff. Okay, fine. I guess I look like Mark Ruffalo a little bit, guys, but it's more the way we speak, okay? Yeah, he is. That's why he's used to analyzing juries or even witnesses. You know, like when he's questioning someone, Rob, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but spotting these little things can allow you where to take the line of questioning.
Oh yeah. I know when the witness is uncomfortable. I know when I've gotten to a place where they're saying something they don't want to say. And when I get there and I realize that what I'm saying and what I'm asking them has a reaction or they're avoiding the answer to the question, that gives me an indication this is where I need to focus more on. It's not so much that I'm giving behavioral analysis, but what I'm doing is I'm just attuning myself to the witness on the stand and trying to, I think capitalize might be the right word, capitalize on little openings that I see in what their behavior is telling me regarding their testimony.
Absolutely. And you caught my eye block. That's such a great thing for a lawyer to be tuned into, and you caught it in real time because you were watching it. You didn't see it the first time. By the way, we talked about eye blocking. I didn't talk about the research on this. So eye blocking is one of those things I really love. I love any research that was done involving people who were born blind, because when we see behaviors of people who were born blind, we know that it's innately human. They didn't observe that and learn it. So when a blind person is disgusted, we still see the same thing. They didn't learn that. It's innate. And it's the same with eye blocking. We eye block to keep thoughts in or out. So when someone's focusing on something, trying to hold on to a thought, trying to remember something, we see eye blocking. But we also want to try to keep a thought out, an unpleasant thought. So you might get bad news and you just do this. Or, like for me, I was talking about an unpleasant thought and it wasn't bad news. It was just, I was thinking of something that I don't like to think about. So it's just that eye block very much. If I was looking at it as an analyst, I would go, something unpleasant there that the person doesn't want to let in. So that's what that was.
I might go far enough to actually ask a witness on the stand, was something that I just said, did something I just say make you uncomfortable? I might actually say that and just see how they respond to that. And then you see the discomfort go through the roof. And then not just you are seeing it, but now you've explained that to the judge or jury.
Yeah. And that's amazing because the jury won't unsee that. Love it. Guys, I know who I'm calling if ever I'm in trouble. Okay, so we are now going to move on. We are going to move on to something. There's two videos coming up. And Rob, by the way, give me Rob, are you going to start yours at 8:30 today?
Yeah, 8:30.
Great. So do I have you till like 8:15?
We're gonna say about 8:10 because I do have to finish eating and getting ready for that stream.
Sensational. So we're going to do two things now, guys. We're going to move on. We're going to keep doing a bit of behavioral analysis on a video that I saw on TMZ for a situation that I think very soon is going to be trending a lot. And right now it's kind of out there, but I think it's going to be out there a little bit more soon. And then I'm going to teach you guys a way to think about things that will allow you to sniff out when something doesn't add up. It's just, like I said earlier, it's a little tweak you make to the way you think that's going to make you see things a little bit and go, oh, no, something here isn't right. Anyways, I'm really excited to get to that. So let's look at this next bit. These next clips is something I saw recently. It wasn't enough for me to do a full analysis video, but I was like, there's good stuff here. And this is speaks to me personally a lot because I'm a fan of this entire culture. It's Lance Bass from NSYNC. So for those of you who were 90s children like me, well, I was born in the 80s, but grew up in the 90s. This is Lance Bass from NSYNC, and he's being asked. He's at an airport. He's going to his flight. And he's being asked by a reporter, by a paparazzi, about Britney Spears' book. And so Britney Spears recently released her book. And that's what I'm saying. I think soon enough, if there's any kind of press or something like that, there's going to be a lot of news on that. But she's being asked about specifically things that were he's being asked about things that she said in the book about his bandmate, Justin Timberlake. And we're getting a lot of stuff here. And I've broken this into a couple of components. The first one is it's going to give us a bit of a baseline, and then we're going to get to the juice. So let's just look at this. This is so for this first part, I want you to focus. Let's do the funnel. Earlier we talked about the funnel. Let's focus on comfort versus discomfort. And then let's look at, are there any universal emotions going on? And then more specifics. Just a bit of a baseline on what we're seeing here. Narcissist gets thrown around.
Hey, have you bought Britney's book yet?
I did.
You did?
I'm excited to read it.
You haven't started or you have?
No, I'm about to read it on the plane.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Or you can go the audiobook version.
Which sounds amazing, yeah.
Which sounds really good. Michelle Williams does most of it.
Maybe she should do my book.
Oh, she could just be the new go-to.
Muted.
Thanks, man. So there it is, Lance Bass. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'll give you a quick kind of context, for those of you who have no idea what this culture is. So Lance Bass, the gentleman we just saw, was in NSYNC with Justin Timberlake in the 90s. Huge boy band sensation, freaking took over the world, bunch of hits, #1 hits. And then after that, Justin Timberlake went on to have a solo career, did really well with that, as NSYNC kind of faded into the background. And now Lance does a lot of TikTok, a lot of Instagram, usually very positive, a lot of humor stuff, dances, and he's very open, always smiling. So this is so that's what we're seeing in this moment. He's being asked about, this guy caught up with him, and he's being asked about Britney's book. And in Britney's book, I'm sorry, I'm just reading some of the great comments that you guys are already catching some stuff with. So, okay, let's start with comfort versus discomfort. And this is a little challenging. It's not necessarily easy, because the reason for that is we're talking about someone who ever since he was a teenager is used to cameras being in his face. So where would you say, comfort or discomfort?
I would say discomfort. He's avoiding contact. He's keeping his head straight and only tilting his head to left, but almost intentionally avoiding his eyes meeting the camera. So he's clearly not comfortable. And there's a lot of just dodging the substance of the question too.
Yep. Rob, would you say this is the epitome of discomfort?
I don't know. It's tough with him. He's difficult because he is very naturally expressive, but very controlled in his expressions. You don't see a whole lot. I mean, I would say that the only thing that doesn't really scream discomfort to me is he doesn't increase his pace in walking. He maintains that casual pace.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a pretty clear indication he's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So another thing about Lance Bass is that, and we're going to see a few more signs of this in a moment. In the next clip, we're going to see signs of this. He likes to make people happy. Like we could tell from his TikToks, he doesn't want to upset people. So he's not the kind of guy, I don't think, who's going to go like, leave me alone, piss off or anything like that. So he's never going to go to that. But if I had 2 jars of discomfort and comfort, and I was putting marbles, in each one, I think there would be a bit more in my discomfort jar because, like you said, his body isn't turned. He keeps walking. Some of you said he keeps that flow keeps going. He doesn't stop for the guy. He does give him these quick glances. There is a smile. So let's talk about the smile. So now we're moving down at the funnel at the top. We have discomfort, comforts. We are moving down a little bit into universal emotions, but it's fine. We'll mix and match a little. If we move down to universal emotions, we see a smile, which would suggest joy or happiness. Rob, don't cheat, don't help them out because I want to see the chat here. Are we seeing real joy in that moment? Are we seeing real smile? We call it Duchenne smile, named after Guillaume Duchenne, who discovered the muscles in the face that create a real smile. Knight again. Geez, Knight, I don't think you've gotten a single one wrong. Knight, when I need to take a break, I think you need to come on the channel and do videos. So no. No. Polite smile. No. So yeah, correct. You guys are up and down. You guys are nailing this. No. Exactly. It's not a Duchenne smile. It's a polite smile. It's one that he's used to as an entertainer. It's courteous. He's giving the guy the minimum amount of attention, but it's not a genuine, I'm happy to be here talking to you. So all these things would go in my, that's not necessarily discomfort, polite smile, but just, it's not comfort either. There's one thing that would go into my comfort jar. And it's that he contributed to the conversation, right? Usually these stars want to turn the paparazzi away, just brief answers to the point, yes or no. But at the end, I don't know how many of you heard this, the reporter said something about Michelle. Was it Michelle Williams who narrates the book, Brittany's book? I just want to go back. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Let's listen to that again.
Do my book.
Oh, she does most of it.
Maybe she should do my book.
Which sounds really good. Michelle Williams does most of it.
Maybe she should do my book.
Oh, she could just be the new go-to.
So he goes, yeah, maybe she should do my book. And there's something interesting in that moment. I wonder if you guys will agree with this. He contributes to the conversation, but the thing he contributes brings it back to him. Like, I have a book. I have a book too. So I wonder if we're seeing a hint here. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with this in the chat, because there's no amount of behavioral analysis that would tell me this. This is just a hunch, a mentalist hunch, that so much of his last 20 years have been about Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, his affiliation to people who are still big. I think there might be a part of him here going like, maybe I want to talk about myself too sometimes. It's not just about NSYNC and Justin Timberlake. So he's like redirecting to like saying, hey, I have a book too. Want to ask me anything about that? Like there's a bit of sarcasm, right? So, Rob, what do you think?
Well, it's also one of the only answers he gives while directing his face to the camera. So you can see he answers fleetingly throughout, but that was one of the only ones where he almost noticeably turns towards the camera, but doesn't directly engage. So there is that kind of suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's kind of, and I don't think it's him trying to like get a whole ton of like, look at me, notice me. It's just like, I think it's almost this bit of a sarcastic note of like, you're talking to me. Why are all the questions about other people? You're like, I'm trying to do things too. So I think he's too nice to like snap. I believe that's part of what's going on here. I think it's like, he's just dropping that little thing there to see if the guy wants to talk about his book. Some people in the chat are saying, how would TMZ know he's there? We've talked about this on the channel before. So I was on TMZ a couple of years ago. And most of what you guys are saying is right. it's a tip. Like somebody tips TMZ off that you're going to be somewhere. In my case, it was somebody who tipped TMZ that I was performing at the Friars Club. So when I stepped out of the Friars Club in New York City, there was a reporter waiting for me. He was super nice about it. He even told me like, hey, I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to do this. Okay, ready? Here we go. Boom. It's like that too. So it's like that there was an interaction before this moment where the guy said, hey, Lance, is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions? Whether it's someone from his team or someone from the airline called in a tip. Ooh, I have a Lance Bass here. You know, TMZ might make deals with airport staff to say, if you see a big name, let us know. It's hard to know, but usually there's a tip that's called in. But yeah, it's like there's a bit of a conversation there. Okay, here's another thing. Again, a bit of a hunch, but I could back this one up with behavior. In the beginning, we'll look at it again before I ask. You know what? Let's look at. Actually, I'll ask you guys the question, and we'll look at it again. Did he buy Britney's book? Was he going to read Britney's book on the plane, on the flight he's about to take? Two questions, might be two different answers. Look at this again.
Hey, have you bought Britney's book yet?
I did.
You
I'm
did?
excited to read it.
You haven't started or you have?
No, I'm about to read it on the plane.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Or you can go the audiobook.
Okay, so two separate questions. First, Rob, did he buy the book? Second, was he going to read it on the plane? So we have a lot of different answers here. No, so no, he didn't. To what? So we have no and no, yes and yes, yes and no. I think he bought it and it is in a group of books. I don't know. No and no. Yes. He wasn't going to, but he might pay someone to read it. to read now. Here, read this on the plane. Here's a book. Okay, he probably did buy it, but maybe wasn't going to read it on the plane per se. So personally, that's what I think. Personally, but Rob, I want to know what you think. Were you a no?
I have a caveat. So my caveat is that over-exaggerated I did is that maybe he did not personally buy it, but it is in his possession.
Okay, that's baseline for Lance also. That dragging those letters
I did
is very baseline for Lance Bass.
Then I changed my answer to no and no.
You're doing no and no?
I'm saying no and no.
Okay, cool. So I think, and again, we can debate this. I think here's what happened. I see a bit of confidence in the I did, like in the way that he again turns towards the guy and goes, I did. And this nod, I feel like there is a moment of like confidence there. I don't feel that's deception. I think he did, whether like you said, he sent someone to buy it or he bought it to encourage her or just add to cart, whatever, like just on a whim like this. I believe he did. And then when he's asked, did you read it? And he goes, no, I was going to read it on the plane. We have this grand gesture with the hand up here like this, almost was like, leave me alone kind of vibe. I feel like what he's saying there is sort of like, because here's the thing, the way I see it is this. If he was going to read it on the plane, I feel his answer would have been, I did. It's so funny you should ask. I was going to read it on the plane. I feel like that would have been compounded that first answer. Maybe not. But for me, I feel it's, he bought the book, but he wasn't going to read it on the plane. But he's just saying he was now. Because it's like, yeah, I was going to read it on the plane.
The word choice is intentional. He is suggesting / reminding to the interviewer that he has a destination and it's an airplane. Please stop the interview. And I think that like
Okay.
I was going to read, and that's why he gestures forward, like I was going to read it on the plane, which is like
Let's
clearly
get on
that's
with
where
it.
I'm
Okay.
going.
I like
Let
that.
me shut this conversation down.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm on board. For that second part, I'm on board. It's like hey buddy, I'm going on a plane. I just want to look at that first part.
Hey, have you bought Britney's book yet?
I did.
You did?
I don't know, man. There's something about that I did.
Okay, I see, because he also acknowledges the camera. Like there's also the nod to the camera.
Hey, have you bought Britney's book yet?
I did.
You
I'm
did?
excited to read it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he has it. Like, I feel like if he didn't, like, he would say, I haven't yet, or I didn't get around to that yet. Just the same way you admit that he hasn't read it yet and he's going to read it on the plane. Why draw the line there? Why not say, no, I haven't gotten around to that yet? So I don't know. I feel like,
Do you notice that when he says I'm excited to read it, that the gesture is less up and down and more side to side?
let's see. Maybe he's not excited. Maybe he just bought it.
That's what I think he has it, but I think there's 3 parts to this. I'm excited to read it. Maybe they should narrate my book.
I did.
You
I'm
did?
excited to read it.
Oh, yeah, to read it.
To read it.
To read it. A little bit of sass there. Love it. Yeah, listen, we're not going to know, but I think he owns the book. Like you said, Rob, it's possible that maybe one of his representatives bought it because they're like, you have to have Brittany's book. You can't not have Brittany's book. Possible. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he's got it. But yeah, there's a bit of sass there. He's throwing some sass about excited to read it. So maybe he's not that excited, and maybe he wasn't going to read it on the plane. I'm on board with that, but I do believe he has the book. That's just me.
You were gonna watch. Wait, what? You're gonna watch the end to see if he's gesturing towards the plane.
You haven't started or you have?
No, I'm about to read it on the plane.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, forward gesture. I'm about to read it on
Yep.
the plane. I gotta go.
This is where I'm
this
going.
way.
This is where I'm going.
Love it. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if he talks about any passages. Ooh, also, I don't want to give away where we're going with this. So, okay, I think somebody already said something, because I saw somebody say something about a different comment that we haven't gone to yet, but that I think somebody predicted where this is going. I think Dr. Berry may have said something. I can't go find it, but Dr. Berry, let me know if you said something that relates to what we're about to see. Because somebody just said, I agree with Dr. Berry about something that I very much agree on. Okay, now he's being asked. So basically, Brittany said some things about Justin Timberlake in the book. He's going to be asked about that. Let's take a look. There's some really good stuff here. Pay attention to all the body language, not just the facial expressions.
Hey, a lot of the fans have been like coming at JT for various things in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's fair or unfair?
Look, I mean, everyone has their own opinion. I just feel like the world is so full of hate right now that we need to practice a little forgiveness.
Yeah.
Brittany did. So let's take a note from her.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't even seem that like upset with him, but the fans have decided that they are upset. They're trying to cancel and
That discomfort level just went to like 1 million. It went way up. The eye flutters start to go real quick. The eye blocking happens a lot. His discomfort level about this guy being above him, in front of him, and facing back to him is through the roof.
Yep. Guys, it's not a scripted interview. It's different to say it's scripted than planned. Like, he knew TMZ was going to be there. It's not scripted. Like, you say this, I'm going to say this. We're seeing real emotional responses. Not everything on TV is scripted. I had an entire career in television, and I told you guys, I've worked with TMZ. I've been on TMZ. So no, not scripted. In my opinion, in my experienced opinion, in this case. So yeah, Rob, totally agreed. There's a bunch of stuff. Who caught in the beginning? There was something. I don't want to give away too many clues. I'll put it this way. Chase would call this object interaction. There was an interaction with something. There was something that he did right in the beginning. The moment Justin Timberlake came up, we saw something. Did anybody catch it? I'll give it a sec to see if anybody before the shrug, there was definitely a shrug.
Did he reach down and grab the handrail?
He slapped it. He slapped the handrail. So
it's almost like
Lindsay.
it's like a oh damn, you had to, I knew you were gonna go there. You're here.
Yep. So somebody got it touching the railing, hand slap on railing, grasp the rail. Yeah, some of you got it. But you see it right as Justin comes up, as about to talk about it. The moment the subject comes up.
for various things in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's fair or unfair?
Look, I mean, everyone has their own opinion.
Just before the shrug.
Think that's fair or unfair?
Boom.
Look, I mean,
just this random, like, almost like a self-soothing, like releasing of tension in that slap. Then we see the shrug that you all caught. So you guys know I love the shrugs. Shrugging is best research on this, Université Paris-Nanterre. I always quote that research because I love it. And it indicates a disengagement. I don't something. I don't know. I don't care. And in this case, I think given the distancing that we're seeing from the question, from the topic, I don't know how to put this. I don't know what to say. He's aware. Remember, some of you mentioned this before. There's a bit of a people-pleasing element to him. He knows that this is touchy. If he goes on one side, he's insulting the Britney fans. If he goes on the other side, he's insulting the Justin Timberlake fans. It's a tough situation for him to be in. So we get that shrug. And then what does he say? Listen, we see a bunch of stuff. Look, shrug. Everyone has an opinion. These are all delaying tactics. These are all things we do. So first, look. Filler words, fluff. Everyone has an opinion. That's a non-answer statement. He's just buying himself a second to think of an answer.
Everyone has their own opinion. I just feel like the world is so full of hate right now.
I feel like the world is so full of hate right now. That's like a prologue to his answer, a preface to his answer. Then we get the answer.
We need to practice a little forgiveness.
What happens when he says forgiveness?
Mm-hmm.
Eye blocking and distancing. So as he's saying, we need to practice a little forgiveness, eye blocking, and putting distance between him and the question. So that's huge in that moment for forgiveness. And I think what's happening in that moment, Rob, you'll let me know if you agree. He knows the moment he says forgiveness, that there's a bunch of Britney Spears fanatics that are going to go, what do you mean forgiveness? And they're going to jump on his case. It's an opinion. He gave an opinion. And I think this eye block and distancing is bracing himself. Because look how long it took for him to get to an opinion. Rob?
And how many prefaces he put in between that. He basically prefaces the opinion with like 3 or 4 different things. Like, everyone's got an opinion, or like just all these things. Like the world's so full of hate right now. So he's leading up to this thing that he knows is going to be a pain in the butt for him.
Yep. I'm seeing a bunch of really great comments here. Such a pro. I'm trying to see. There was a bunch of other ones. Blah, 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 blah. Vague, yes. He is telling himself, stay cool. I absolutely agree. I think that's a really great assessment. It's that sort of, okay, just bracing himself, like, just be cool. And look at what he says immediately after. Immediately after the opinion, look at what happens. And it's crazy because this is how I did my analysis. I paused it. I wrote, bracing himself, doesn't really want to express an opinion, is scared of judgment for that opinion. Now listen.
Yeah.
Britney did, so let's take a note from her.
Britney did, so let's take a note from her. So he says something that would offend a Britney fan, braces himself for that impact, and then goes, Britney did, Britney forgave him, so why don't we take a note from her? Reminding her fans that she forgave him. We should do the same.
Yep.
So I think that's exactly what we saw there in that eye block and that gesture. So ultimately, what do we think about? I think this is just a guy trying to stay politically correct as much as he can.
Yep.
And then trying to maybe suggest that we go easy on his buddy. Because here's the thing. If Justin is prosecuted, that can have effects on NSYNC as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just as a friend, as someone who just doesn't want turmoil. Okay, Rob, sorry, I just saw your private chat. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to move on to a topic soon. But Rob, first, I wanted to show you something. So we're going to talk about in a moment how to critically assess situations to know if something's up, to know if something's weird, or if everything's legit. So to do that, I'm going to show you a magic trick. And Rob, you can leave after that, but I'll talk to everyone else later about why we did this trick. So simple trick. I'll get to the point of this after I do the trick. So very simple coin trick with 2 coins. We have, trying to get that in focus, an American $50.
Okay.
50 cents US, and a Mexican centavo. It's called Mexican centavo. So we have an American and a Mexican, nothing else in the hands. I want you to see that, nothing else in the hands. I'm going to do this all like this in view. Like I won't drop my hands out of frame or anything like that. I'm going to put both coins in the hand like this. And I want you to remember that my hand is coming out empty. Both coins are in the hand. I won't move out of frame. Rob, I'm going to make one of these coins disappear. We're going to start with a decision that you're going to make. Do you want the American coin or the Mexican coin?
Why are you reading me right now? Mexican.
Okay. Took a really long amount of time. Hesitancy, non-answer statement. What's going on there? So watch Mexican. That's you called it. That's the one you wanted. So we'll take the American one out like this, and you wanted to make the Mexican one disappear. Totally your call. Watch. Just a touch with the coin like that, and the Mexican coin is gone. Completely vanished. Both hands empty, nothing in the sleeve, didn't drop anything. I was in frame the entire Rob doesn't like that. Rob doesn't like that. So completely gone. Now, we're going to get around to what's important about that, but Rob, you are going live in 15 minutes, so go. Go away.
Okay. All right. I guess
All
I gotta
right.
listen. Bye.
Everybody go to Rob's stream after this. When we're done this one, we'll wrap up in about 10, 15 minutes. You guys can head over to Rob's as well. Bye, Rob.
Bye.
Bon appetit. That means there's no equivalent to bon appetit in English, like enjoy your meal, I guess. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I think we're done. Yeah, you know what? I think we're done with the Lance Bass one. So overall, I think we have someone. Do we have any? Oh, we have one more clip with him here. What's this? We'll skip that. He was just denying that he was asked about the tour and the album, and there was just a really great stop gesture there saying like there was never a tour. Really quick. I'll show you guys really quick right there.
An album. We might be talking about it soon, but nothing in the works right now.
No plan yet.
Nothing. It was just a really good stop gesture there. We'll skip that. Okay, so here's this. This is about a TikTok. So we're going to talk now about critical thinking a little bit and how you can apply it to situations. And we're going to talk about how this magic trick plays into that. And I'm going to teach you guys, let me do this so you guys can see me. I'm going to teach you guys how to think like a magician when it comes to critical thinking. Because magicians, we constantly have to, like we basically create deception, right? Mentalists, magicians, same thing. And we have to think about what overrides the critical thinking. So to beat that, to try to figure it out, there's certain things we do that I'm going to teach you guys how to do to be able to critically think about things. So this is about a TikTok that happened a little while ago. It went massively viral. At this time, I checked today, it has 20 million views. And I don't know what it was about this TikTok. This is a TikTok. Some of you may have seen it. As I talk about it, you'll be like, oh my God, I saw that one. Where it was just a guy at a Renaissance fair talking to these two girls who were trying to take a picture, and he went up to them and I guess tried to flirt with one of them. And this went mega viral. I think at least 5 different people sent me this video. And I don't even know why. Some people just sent me like, dude, check this out. And it went viral and a lot of comments on it. And it came up, well, it's not just TikTok, by the way, sorry. It's also, I think it's also an Instagram reel. For those of you who don't watch TikTok, I don't think I even saw it on TikTok as well. I think it was on Instagram reel. I interchanged it to short form content. So this was, sorry, I just saw a comment that made me laugh. Where is it? You're not gonna be able to move past this, are you? So it was a guy at a Renaissance fair trying to talk to these women, and it was awkward. It was cringy. So this came up in a conversation with me and a couple of friends. And I'm not going to tell you which side I was on, but a debate came up. The debate was whether this TikTok is real or fake. Is it staged or is it real? Now, I know a lot of us have bias. A lot of us have instant bias to say it's all staged. Everything on Instagram Reels, everything on TikTok, it's all staged. And that's fine. I actually like truth to eliminate truth bias in our thinking. I like that kind of thinking. But let's put that aside for a sec. When we look at this video, I'm not going to tell you which side of the debate I was on, whether I was on the this is real side or the this is staged side. But I got into a big debate with some friends. One of us was very convinced of one thing. One of us was very convinced of the other. And we had our arguments. But I applied my way of thinking and got some answers. So let's look at it. I'm going to show you guys the TikTok. People are still trying to figure out where the coin is. The coin is in Rob's ear. It is. So imagine if I did that. Rob, check under your ear. And he goes, oh, and there's a coin there. You guys would have freaked. So let's look at the TikTok, okay? I'll warn you, it is cringe, but enjoy. as much as you can.
Tried to take a photo at the Renaissance Fair and this happened.
Hello, my lady, and welcome to the Renaissance Fair. My name is King Aragag.
Wait, sorry.
And I was wondering if you'd like to be my princess for the day. I am very interested in your beauty, finally.
Can you actually just take a photo of us? We just
Photo? What is that? I don't actually know what that is because it is the year 1309. What is this? Some sort of mirror into the future? I'll take it.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. I got to say everything I just said again. I said there's a reference to Avengers in the comments, and Adrian, you and I just became friends for life. Because I know that like a lot of people may not understand this reference, but it's a line from Avengers. Oh, dude, because you guys were saying, where is the coin? And Adrian goes, I'll do you one better. Why is the coin? I think, Adrian, unless it's highly coincidental, that's a reference to Drax in the Avengers. That is freaking hilarious. It distracted me from what we were doing. High five, Adrian. High five. I'm a huge fan of Avengers, by the way. But anyways, sorry. Yeah. For those of you who get it, you know how funny that is. Yes, Gamora, exactly. For those of you who get it, Patrick, yes. Okay, Dominica, awesome. Dominica, awesome. So for those of you who get it, we know how funny it is. But if you don't worry about it. It was just a great comment. High five. Oh, something in the private chat. Okay. Cool. So we saw the video. Let's go back on track. So there is no coin. What do we think of that? Are we witnessing a real interaction or a not real reaction or video? Was that real or not real? I think the TikTok is real. Let's see some comments. Thomas, I think the TikTok is real. Has more to do with knowing people like the guy. Daniel, real. Girls are real. We have a not real. We have a real. We have a real. Okay, so we have quite a few reals, not real. Magical Mary says not real. Cat Yarb says real, 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 not real. We have a not real. Real, 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 scripted, real. I think the girl's reaction was real. We have a not real, real. Okay, so real's winning. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through this. A lot of real. She was pissed, real. The girls look creeped out, real. Real. Okay, so I will. Girl's reaction feels real. Sorry, I'm just trying to, I just really want to. Real. Okay, so it mostly says real, some not real. So I'm not going to tell you yet what my side of the debate was. Let's talk about my process of critical thinking. And this is the way I apply this thinking to, and I'll try to do this quick for those of you who want to go check out Rob's stream as well. The way I think about critically situations is the same thing I apply to magic tricks. So when I think about magic tricks, and I'm not going to give you the whole method here, but I'm going to guide you along the right lines to know how to think about magic tricks when a magic trick fools you. So when I see a magic trick, here's what happens in my head. I go, if this person was a sorcerer who can really do this, what would it look like? What would it sound like? What would it look like? What would he say? What would he do? How does what we just saw differ from that? That's how I think about every magic trick. What should it look like? What should it sound like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? So if I can really make a coin vanish, if I had that ability, that power, superpower, what would it look like? I might have a handful of coins, a whole bunch, and I would tell you guys, I will make any one of these disappear. Which one do you want to make disappear? You would say the nickel. I would take the nickel, I would hold it up here, just the nickel. I would hold it up here, I would do this, and it would vanish in plain sight. That's what it would look like. Now ask yourselves, how was what I did, both in what I said and in what I did, different from that scenario? So what was different? Lay it out for me in the comments. Let me know in the comments. How was what I did? Just point out some differences between. Thanks, Sadie. If everybody could just hit that like, take a quick sec. Thank you. So we have one. Hand open versus closed hand, hidden, exactly. So that's one big difference. One big difference is that the 2 coins were hidden from sight. It wasn't in plain sight. So that's a note for me. When I watch this, if I see this, the note is, okay, I didn't see it vanish. I just saw it go into the hand and it never came out. So the implication is that it vanished, but I didn't see it vanish. So yes, I made you lose sight of the coin. What else? Sarah Hooks, great catch. Only showed one side of the coins. Great. My words, Will, I have a feeling you've done this before, man. Yes. So, okay, I'll tell you guys what it is really quick. The first is the one you all saw. The fact that the hand was closed. This is important. That distinction is really important. Would I have been able to do this in plain sight? Probably not. If I could, why wouldn't I do that? Why would I put it in the hand? So the concealment is important. The first one, this is psychologically really deep. Did I tell, and you guys might have to wait to go back and watch the stream again, did I tell Rob, I have 2 coins, which one do you want me to vanish? I didn't say that. I'm debating whether I should say what I said or not. Okay, I'll say it. I said, Rob, I have 2 coins. I'm going to make one of these coins disappear. So I'm going to start by asking you a question. Which coin do you want? American or Mexican? That was my question. Which coin do you want? Not which coin you want to make disappear. Which coin do you want? That's ambiguity. We talked a lot about ambiguity earlier today. I'm not saying whichever one you name, I'll make disappear. I'm saying which one do you want? So think about what might happen if you had said American. Would the trick have gone the exact same way? I'm not allowed to reveal the secret, but just think about that. Am I screwed? If he says American, would I be like, right? So just think about that. Think about if there's a difference between which one do you want me to make disappear and which one do you want? Because there is. Finally, I didn't put 1 coin in my hand and make that coin disappear. I put 2 coins in my hand, one of which disappeared. That's different. Why is that different? Why is that important? So I can't give you these answers, but by thinking about it critically, I'm just reading the questions. The trick would be the same. It depends on interpretation. You guys are thinking along the right lines. Yes, we have some tricky words. No, not 2 sides to 1 coin. It's a great guess, but it is legitimately only the American one. Only the American one comes out. So yeah, somebody knows the terminology. That's great. So anyways, these are all the things we think about. So same thing applied to the TikTok or the reel we just saw. 2 girls at a Renaissance fair. A guy comes up to them, little cringy, creepy, trying to pick them up. They reject him. So in my mind, I'm thinking about if that was a real thing, what would I expect to see? And there was a very big red signal for me in my head. And the red signal was this. I'm going to ask you one question. Give me an answer, a yes or no answer to this question. The guy we saw in the video, is that a confident man? Yes or no? I'm hoping that some of you are going to have a light bulb in this moment. I'm hoping some of you are going to see that. I'll give it a sec. See, we already have disagreement. A lot of no's, a lot of yeses. And there's a reason for that. Okay, so no, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy holding the camera. The question is, was the guy in the video confident? So let's look at it critically, right? We see in his body language, he's got this turtling, he's got this hesitation, he's got this stammering as he's talking. So we're seeing an unconfident person in that moment. So if you were to just take that snapshot, you go, okay, that's a pretty unconfident person. Everything he's portraying is a lack of confidence. But when they instantly turn him down, what happens? Does he apologetically go away? No, he persists. He goes more into it. He leans more into it. He grabs her. He spins himself. He keeps going. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. And that's why a lot of you said yes, because it takes a lot of confidence to walk up. First of all, it takes a lot of confidence to go up to girls like that. But anyone who's that frail, insecure, stammering is already thinking of rejection. In my opinion, in their head, they're already thinking of rejection. They're going to go up. The moment that rejection hits, it's just going to confirm nobody wants me. These girls are out of my league. They're too beautiful for me. It's going to break the confidence. It didn't. And for me, that was a huge, like, wait a second, what is going on here? The fact that the confidence didn't break, that was huge. Second, I noticed if I've seen a lot of interactions like this, his attention, we primarily focused on her. He's so nervous that we focused on her. He's playing to the camera. There's an energy there. If we go back and look at it, that was the second thing I noticed. His energy was directed, not only at the end when he turns to the camera, like, what is this device? But from the beginning, he's turned towards the camera. There's these little nods to the camera. Look, he comes in, even in his approach, he's aware of the camera, very aware of the camera. Third, she asks him to take pictures of them, but they already have someone taking pictures of them. That didn't make sense to me there. I was like, what is going on? Why does she want him to take a picture? But like a lot of you guys, there was one thing that threw me off, and it's the reaction of one of the girls, not the main one that he's talking to, the one on the right. Her reaction is really good. Because look at the way when he comes.
Take a photo at the Renaissance Fair and this happened.
Hello, my lady. And
It slowly fades. She notices him as she perks up. It slowly fades from a smile
welcome to the Renaissance Fair. My name is...
into a more neutral look, pacifies, looks at the camera, and steps out. If she's acting, that's great. It's possible that she was just taking pictures with this Instagrammer or TikToker or something like that and wasn't aware that this was going to happen. There's a possibility of that. But I was convinced watching this, because of the discrepancy of this guy's character and how someone who's that unconfident wouldn't keep persisting. There was also the fact that he stammered on his own name. He didn't get his own name out. And someone like this in this fictional world who loves this Renaissance Fair type of thing would be more likely to say his name more smoothly, but that could just be the nerves. He's talking to a pretty girl, so I discounted that. But I couldn't get past the fact that I can't figure out if this guy is confident or unconfident, because he's both. And it's weird to be both, especially in a moment like this. And her reaction, the one of the main girl, was a little too...
is King
that surprise didn't seem real to me. The way she went, "Oop," like this, it seemed deliberate.
Picture. Wait, sorry.
And I was wondering if you'd like to be my princess for the day. I am very interested
And then
in
at
your
the end, we
beauty
see a
finding.
thing like
Code,
that.
can you actually just take a photo of us? We just
Photo? What is that?
That could be like the sun or cringe,
I don't
but at the end,
actually
watch
know what
this.
that is because it is the year 1309.
You see a
What
very
is
quick
this?
burst
Some
at the
sort of
end.
mirror into the future? I'll take it.
See that? Towards the camera. So for me, I felt like that was her cracking character. So that was my side of the bet. It was that this is not real. It's staged. And we had a bet going, me and a couple of friends. So I did a little bit of research and I went back in her reels, really far back. By the way, she's a TikToker, Instagrammer, Mitzi270. She has a ton of followers. This video got 20 million views. So I guess a lot of the comments were reflecting that they thought this was real. I didn't. And I went back and I saw other content with him in it. They're friends. They were filming stuff at her house. He's an Instagrammer as well. He's a TikToker. This was all an act. And so by the way, if my battery dies, don't go anywhere. I'll have to replace it because it's really low. But basically, I want to end on this. Whenever you see something, whether it's a reel, a TikTok, a video, a story, a scenario, news, try to look at it that way. What would this look like if it was 100% real? And I use this a lot, by the way, in behavioral analysis, even in body language. If this was real, what would this look like? What would it sound like? In 90 cases out of 100, because it's never the same. Things differ. We're all different. But what would be some themes that would be part of that if it was real? More likely. And look for things that differ from that. Things that don't line up with the way you would see this. The way I would see this interaction is the guy comes up super nervous. Hey, milady, my name is King, whatever. And the moment he got that rejection, he would maybe even break character a little and step away a little broken. For him to be that confident, his body language would denote that confidence as well, I think. So that's where my red flag came in. It's not consistent with what I would think would happen most of the time. And then I saw a couple of more clues. That's why I figured out for me, and I won't always be right. There are times where I won't see it, I guarantee you. But in this one, there was a part of me immediately going, no, things don't line up. Her reaction doesn't line up. So yeah, great comment there. Sorry, Chase would say, what is missing here? Bia, what's going on? Bia was one of the ones who last week spotted the contempt. I was so happy when that happened. So yeah, it's a great question. What's missing? What's different? Not so much what's missing. So it's both. It's what's missing that should be there. What's there that shouldn't be there? What should be missing, but what I'm seeing. So yeah, for those of you who felt he was acting, great job. And please don't feel bad if you didn't. This is tough. A lot of people thought. I had really, really smart, really close friends, like magicians, who thought this was real. They were fighting me. They were like, there's no way this is staged. It's too cringe to be staged. So please don't feel bad. I see why. There's a good element of cringe that makes us go, ooh, that's awkward. So I totally get it. It's just for me, there was a couple of things that didn't line up. Okay, let's do super chats. That way everybody could over to Rob's stream. Sorry, I went a little bit over. We'll do super chats. There isn't that many of them. Really quick. Also, let me know in the comments if you're on the replay crew. Let me know if you enjoyed this format. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed this format. This is fun, guys. Just looking at some clips, working with each other. I love this. I love this kind of thing. Allows me to check in with you guys as well. And on times where I don't have, on weeks where I don't have time to film and edit, let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of thing. Here we go. Matt. Good day, spiffy psycho mumbo jumbo talkie dude. Oh, Matt with the spiffy fiffy. Love it. That's awesome. Giuseppe, grazie. Thank you so much. Rob put a note about 30 minutes. He's eating. Great. He ended up making it. That was awesome. Glad he made it. What's up, Spidey? Do you believe it is possible for the person to evaluate their own body language as a way to help understand what they are feeling at certain times? Love that. I'm going to replace my battery to answer this question. It'll take 2 seconds. Let me just grab this. So, great question. Love this question. And people misunderstand the relationship between the expression of emotion and the feeling of emotion. So we often think, I'm sad, therefore I cry. I'm happy, therefore I laugh. There's been some research. This isn't conclusive. There's a lot of debate on this, but there's been some research that suggests that the gesture comes first. So something happens and instantly I'm sad before I consciously know I'm sad, because my subconscious picked it up before my conscious, and it's making me sad for me to register consciously, oh my, I'm frowning, I'm crying, I must be sad. It's a split second. It's really quick. That's why there's debate. It's really hard to know which comes first, but there are a lot of researchers who believe the emotion comes first. So Fernanda, I think it's a great question. I think it's possible sometimes that we might look at something and see a moment of sadness and go, oh, I guess I was sad in that moment. I guess I was nervous in that moment. I guess I was more stressed than I thought. I've watched performances of mine where I'm pacing more, I'm pacifying more, and I'm like, oh, I guess I was more nervous than I remember. Because sometimes afterwards you think back, you're like, I went well, so I must have been relaxed. But you see, oh, I was more nervous. I can maybe correct that next time. We'll try to be aware of that next time. Not too much though, because when we try too much to correct things, it just looks weird. But great question, love it. Tanya, thank you so much. Tanya is awesome. She makes some great Instagram content. You guys should go give her a follow on Instagram. Tanya Beauty Coach. Love the content, Tanya. And she's local, she's Montrealer, just like me. Are you a lefty? As in handed, not politics. I'm not, I'm a righty. Although there are certain things, when I was younger at hockey, I used to be able to do both. But there's something else where I'm on the wrong side. Baseball, right. Golf, I'm right. I feel like there's something I do with the left hand, but I can't remember what it is. But no, mostly a righty. I write with the right. Vanessa Los Angeles. Hi, Spidey. Sorry, but I saw a video by Uncle Herman. And has a video called Body Language Experts Are Lying to You. Have you seen it? Your thoughts? I have not seen that one. Listen, it's not news that body language experts, and I don't call myself an expert. I call myself a body language analyst. It is a field that has a lot of skepticism. And I feel like it's a lot because some people misunderstand. Like they think we see one gesture and we go, oh, that means this. Like we see one thing and we go, oh, the blink reading craze. This guy's lying. In fact, most analysts that I work with, or at least the ones I take seriously, will never say anything like that. We preach clusters, we talk about baseline, we talk about shifts from that baseline, and I just teach what I practice. You know, I have a degree in this, so a lot of what I'm talking about, I study, a lot of research I quote, I learned back in my university degree, and I studied behavioral psychology, let's say social psychology, but a lot of that was behavioral psychology. But since then, I apply this in my day-to-day work. When I do my mentalism act, I see certain things, I call it out, and I'm just teaching that. And you could come see my show. I could do this. I do this for a living. And at some point, I have a plan of putting videos up where we talk about what I see and how I call things out in real time. But I'm just talking about the things I've studied, the things I see, the things that help me. And I try to be at least extremely honest about the fact that these will never give you direct answers, just inclination. To me, it doesn't make sense to say body language can't give us information about what someone's thinking. What about emojis? When we look at it, nobody gets an emoji of like an angry face and goes, oh, the person's happy. We get it. There are certain things the research shows that we all do when we feel a certain way. So I think I think both extremes are crazy. I think it's crazy to think that body language could give us every answer, but I also think it's crazy to think that body language could give us no answers whatsoever, because we all do it. We meet someone and we go, oh, they felt a little nervous. I don't know if I trust them. Or we all do it all the time. We were communicating non-verbally way before language came into play. So it's kind of crazy to me if anyone thinks that body language can't give us information about the way someone is feeling or what they're thinking. Kind of find that crazy, but I also find the other extreme crazy. Spidey, tu as reçu la pique du live. Je vous adore tous les deux. Merci beaucoup, Vez. Thank you so much, Vez. Vez says, I got a bit by the live bug. I kind of did. I had such a blast last time, and this week I didn't have time to edit, so I was like, let's just do another live. But I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Et merci à tous les abonnés francophones. Je vous apprécie énormément. I appreciate all my French subscribers and viewers. Thank you for being here. Rob, thanks for talking Spidey into live streams. Oh, Rob. Oh, yes. Tomorrow, Ian Runkle is doing a charity live stream on my birthday. Tomorrow, the 4th. It's a 24-hour live stream for charity. Please go check it out. Encourage, like, follow, share, all that stuff. Ian Runkle. I will leave, I'll leave in the description. I'll leave a link to the stream or to his channel. Make sure to follow that because, it's right there. The link is right there. Rob left it in that comment. But I'll leave it in the description as well. It's for a great cause. I will be donating all my proceeds from last week's live that I did with Rob to that charity. So yeah, check it out. Sarah Hooks, Spidey, please look up Derek and Nancy Johnson. You requested to do an interview with Law and Crime Network, and it was very interesting. Please analyze this one. It was about a month ago. We'll keep it. Get a screenshot of that. We'll look at it in the logs. There's a lot of criteria that goes into what I choose to analyze, so I can't promise that I'll cover this because there's a lot I look at to decide. And I know something's not very clear, but there are a lot of different standards I have. But I'll look at it. And if there's something there, I'll cover it. I was told to open my mouth wide and smile when I'm sad. It's hard to be sad when you do that. Can't remember the source though. So yeah, smiling actually does release chemicals that make us feel happy in the body. I do this sometimes when I'm feeling down a little bit. I force myself to smile. Sometimes it helps, it lifts the spirits. You could try it if it works for you. Awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Please tell Rob to find on his live for us. Oh, is that the coin? To find the coin? Oh, look at this, a Mexican coin. That'd be funny. Thank you for the super chat. Feliz Dia Aranita. Aranita. What is Aranita? Feliz Dia Aranita. There's a birthday cake, so my analytic skills are telling me it's a birthday, but I thought birthday was cumpleaños? Cumpleaños? Cumpleaños feliz. Yeah, I thought birthday was cumpleaños. I don't know what Aranita is, but if that's happy birthday, thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Faith. Thank you for the super chat. It's tomorrow, but thanks. All right, guys. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Oh, it's spider. Okay, that makes sense. Aranita. Of course, I'm so silly because in French, araignée is a spider. So aranita, Spidey. I love it. Feliz dia. Okay, so happy day, Aranita. Gracias. Muchas gracias. Hablo español poquito. Comprendo todo. So, little spider. I love it. Guys, let me know in the chat what you thought of this. I certainly had a blast. Oh, Nimu, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the chat what you guys thought of this. I had a blast. It's a little more chaotic for me. I think that's the reason I'm so scared of doing lives, because there's a lot going on, and I usually like to take my time and analyze. Coming up, and I have a lot of bookings for like corporate events. You know, I go out and do my show at corporate for holiday parties and things like that. And I have quite a few bookings in December. It's a very busy time for me. So yeah, maybe if I can't film, we could do this at times where I can't film and edit. But I don't want to keep you guys from Rob's live. Head over to that Law and Lumber. I've linked it, so when I end the live, you'll be able to see that immediately. Thank you so much for being here and putting up with my trying to figure out a live. You guys are the best. And you guys did so good. Honestly, you guys did so great today. It was amazing to see that. Like, you know, we had a few things where we were disagreeing, and that's fine. Again, going back to behavior will never give us the answer. Just because I think something doesn't mean I'm right. Just because Rob thinks something doesn't mean he's right. You know, we could be certain, doesn't mean we're right. We're going to have differences of opinions. But there were so many things where you guys just really caught on to things that then we unmute and we see you guys nailed it. So good job. This was great. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one. End stream.